All right. Good morning, guys. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do is a good idea before you start programming or coding SQL is to get an understanding of the database you're in. Now, this is step 2, so we're going to be continuing with the document and going beyond the functions and so forth into concatenations and whatnot. But I want to first discuss or look at the new database we're working with. And to do so, I'm going to work with open up my relationships. And in the relationships, you'll notice that you can display all tables. I've displayed one table twice, so couples I've displayed twice. Let me just hide this table. It's a good idea for you to understand how the relationship works. So in this case, we're going through a database which is dealing with, it looks like weddings and gifts for their wedding. So we need to try to determine, so we've got here a couple ID, the bride name, the groom name, and the wedding date. And here a couple ID. So you can notice that this refers to that here. I'm not going to enforce referential integrity if you do that. So couple ID refers to the couple ID here. Now, item ID looks to be referring to the item that's down here. So it looks like we've got a linked table with two tables beyond it. So in other words, what's happening is we've got a database with couples and a whole bunch of list of items. Then what gifts the items? So it's a registry for weddings. So we've got a couple, and this is how it's linked. So couple ID is linked to couple ID here, item ID is linked to item ID there. So in other words, one couple can request many items, and one item can be requested by many couples because we've got a linking table. If I enforce referential integrity, just to show you in an axis, it kind of shows you, gives you a diagram on it. In enforced referential integrity, you see there's a little tick box that says that. Means that I can't refer to an item inside here for a TBL gift. I cannot refer to an item that does not exist yet in there. Now, there are certain occasions where you might want to be able to add an item that doesn't exist yet, but there are other occasions where you do. So when I enforce referential integrity, unfortunately, it won't allow me to do that because it's open in a different table. I've got the tables open down here. I don't particularly feel like... Okay, well, let me not be lazy. All right, when I enforce referential integrity and I go OK, you'll see that puts a 1 to many. Because this is the primary key referring to parts of a composite key. In other words, I can have one item, many gifts. It'll be many gift registry items. And then the same thing, if I enforce referential integrity here, it will also show you, oops, okay, it looks like there's an issue with the data that they've got. Yo. Okay, so it looks like there's an issue with the data there, but when you enforce referential integrity,
so
you can make...
You say you didn't enforce it. So
I've removed it purposely. If you have referential integrity, you can make your queries not work for some random reasons, and it might be because of referential integrity. So for our sake, what I did there with regards to creating relationships, I wouldn't even bother with. I just did that to show you guys the relationships and show you how they would work. But for now, I just like to have my tables open so that I can know what the field names are. Sorry, what?
Who's Emily Ryan? I
have no idea. This database was taken from, I think, 2015's final exam. So you'll have to ask. I think his name is Dominic. Who that is, because he created this test, not me. Okay, so maybe that's his wife. I don't know. Maybe it's not, but his name's not Harold Grant, so it'll be weird if you put that as being, irrelevant. Okay, so let's start by going through the next. Now we're going to go through SQL in a nutshell. We're going to start to look at these. I already explained left to you guys. Do you need a repeat of these functions? Okay, I'll go through these very quickly because we have already discussed about it already. So let's say if I said select, then remember you say the next thing you would say is fields. You would then say from, you would say what tables, plural, where, and then conditions, right? Do you guys get that format?
okay.
That's how you would structure your on there. But in this case, we're going to be going through the idea of left or string manipulation. So if I said left bride name comma 5 from table TBL couples where
You said cubes.
thank you, couples where couple ID is equal to 1. So that should just it will just display. If I now go to view it, sorry, design run, you'll see it'll just display Emily, because I chose instead of displaying Emily Ryan, it just displays Emily because I said I want left 5 characters from the left of bride name. Do you guys get that? So if I then wanted to say Emily
Yeah.
and
Bless you, Matthew. You're welcome.
if I said Emily loves open brackets ampersand, what am I doing here?
Busy
Making life more sense back into a sentence kind of, I guess.
Yeah, so what's called appending. Now here what we call this appending a literal. A literal is when we put in inverted commas, it's hard. It doesn't matter which record I'm in. I could be on 100 records. I am appending the first letter and the last letter. Does that make sense? Yes, no? Okay. Anyway, so I'm now appending. We've done appending with dot concatenate or concatenate. It's another word for it. You're concatenating strings. And then I'm going to say left. I'm going to say actually right. You guys will get what I'm talking about now. Right. Groom name, comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well by the looks of it. 5. And if I ran this, it'll now say Emily Grant. So in other words, after she's married, she would be Emily Grant if she does the convention. So now I'm not going to get into it'll be a bit tricky. I would actually just take it through to Java and I'd manipulate it in Java, but to separate their first names from their surnames. Technically, do you guys understand also now why atomic data is bad?
Yeah.
Non-atomic, sorry, non-atomic. Oh, my bad. Yeah, thank you for that look, David. That look made me re-question myself. The non-atomic data, which here has got it for couple, bride name, and groom name, is bad because now if I needed to separate get the new name of Emily Grant, I'd have to locate where the space is for every single one of these people. Then separate from there, so it's tricky queries. So this is why data normalization is important, because it would prevent a tricky query like you have to do here. Like now, technically, I'd have to do an if statement or a condition to try to find which character in which I don't even know if it's possible in SQL. Personally, I wouldn't want to try actually. So yeah, so I wouldn't go with that. So that's what the left and the right does. Another thing there, guess what length does?
Same as the length.
Okay. Guess I've already shown you ampersand sign. Mid you put through two values. So start and end. So you'd say field start character, end character number. Round. Guess what round does? I'm actually going to show you round a bit. So let's say if I had if I wanted to get, okay, so let's just go here. Select round. Okay, select round open brackets price comma 1 from. Now you notice I always put in capital letters instructions and I use small cases just so I can see it a bit better from TBL items. Now what you'll notice when I do that, all of these, oh, now they're not even displaying in decimal places at all. That's annoying.
Because you rounded up to 1.
No, 0 is technically to no decimal places. 1 should be, but the problem is the display.
Oh, there you go.
It's being iffy.
When we change it to 0, what happens then?
0 will display just it will display no decimal places, but
Sorry,
1 should have displayed only 1 decimal place.
Why didn't it, sir?
I don't know. I think it's got something to do with the properties of the cell that is not allowing it to.
Oh, I think it could drop.
Oh, you know what? No, wait. I think what it is. Look at this. All of them are 0.95. So if you round it off to 1 decimal place, what does it become?
Oh, I see.
So if I made this this one here 9.4, so sorry, the data was a bit confusing there. If I made this 9.4 now for whatever the hell that was, I can't even remember what that was, for seafood, then you'll see it'll display 1 decimal place. The only reason why, that was freaking me out there. So it's a bad example to do, but the only reason why it wasn't is because every single one was 0.95. So if you rounded it off to 1 decimal place, it would all just become 0.0. Does that make sense? So 0.1 would only display 1 decimal place. I began to question my life there. Okay, well, I'd be sad if that was my life, but yes, maybe it is. Okay, now, sorry. Alright, now, guess R&D is an interesting one. I'm happy that we're coming across this because this is something that has come up in a past final before and has been answered pretty badly. When you randomize something, if I go select R&D, comma, description from TBL items, what you'll notice is I run it, it comes up with a random number, but there's the same random number for every single one. So if I run it again, it's a different number, but it's the same random number for every single one. Now the reason behind that, there's no what's called quantifier to it. Now if I say the server will run it so quickly that it just goes, okay, generate a random number. I actually need to specify that I want a random number, a unique random number to be generated for each individual item. Do you guys get that? So now, no, because random does not mean not choose the same number twice ever.
Can you make that like a?
I wouldn't make it a primary key because random.
No,
if I say to you pick a number between 0 and 10, two of you might pick the same number.
No, I'm saying like, can't you make it a? Can't you tell it not to pick the same number twice, and then you could use it as
Not that I wouldn't know how to.
Oh.
Your server, you can specify that to pick a random number and to not generate it by asking the database to do that. But how to do that in SQL? JFGI. I don't know how to do that. Alright, so random. When I look at TBL items, you want to qualify it or quantify it by something that's unique. What is unique inside my items? What's the primary key field? ID. So item ID. So what I'll do is I say random, and inside here I say item ID. Now when I run this again, now you'll notice that now every single one has got a unique number. Now a lot of these numbers don't make much sense to us, do they? So if I wanted them to make sense to me, so if I wanted to give everyone this is a bit of math coming in, but if I wanted to give every item a random number between 0 and 100 or 1 and 100, how would I do that? You would take it, you would times it by the minimum. So the minimum I want is what? Sorry, the maximum I want. What's the maximum? 100. So I'll times it by 100. What's the minimum I want?
0.
1. So I'd plus 1. So I'll times it. So because it randomizes a number between 0 and 1. So a random number is generated between 0 and 1 with tons of decimal places. That's how random numbers are generated with computers, okay? So if I have 0.65932, whatever I times out of 1, it's like a percentage. Whatever I get will be out of 100 times by plus 1 means it will be a minimum. So its minimum is 0, its maximum is 1 in the random number that's generated. Does this make sense to you guys?
No.
Okay, let me delete this and I'll show you again. When I run a random number, every single random number that's generated is between 0 and 1. I think it was just my display actually. I was just showing it's my display doing weird things. Oh, you see it's just to the -2. It was displaying in scientific notation. So it said to the -2, showing it in a different format. Like this one that says 7, it said 7 times 10 to the -2. So it was actually 0.07. Does that make sense? So it's just some of them are displaying in negative notes. No, it is times 10 to the -2. E-02. Do you see that?
No, not that one. The one above that.
It's not 10. It's 0.25. That one's 0.
Scroll up, like, a bit up.
Either or, it's to the negative.
No, I just see that.
Some of them, yes, they display the 7 because it's times e to the -2, so it's in scientific notation that it's explaining. Just trust me, when random numbers are generated by computers, they generate a random number with millions of decimal places between 0 and 1. Do you guys understand that?
I get that.
So now, to get a random number within the area that you want it to be, you times it by whatever you want the max to be. So in this case, if I want to say my max, I want it to be 100, you times it by 100. And then you plus whatever you want the minimum to be. So if I want the minimum to be 1, the maximum to be 100, I do that. Now, if I run this, it will still be between 1 and 100, but you'll still notice there's a lot of decimal places. So how would I fix that?
Oh, that's clever.
You just round it up.
I would just go round, open brackets. Now, defaultly, if I just say round, defaultly it rounds to 2 decimal places. Sorry, 0 decimal places. If I do not say by, so if I don't say comma 0 or comma whatever, it'll defaultly round to 0 decimal places. So now you'll see that there is a random number for every single one that is in here. Does that make sense? Now,
let's see if there's any duplicates. So can you sort it by?
There will be duplicates, I'm sure.
That's fine, sir.
There's a chance of. Damn it! I'm not going to say like.
No,
what did you do today? I regenerated data out of.
50, 51, and 44, and 9.
I mean, technically, eventually, out of 100, there's got to be a chance that even that there'll be 2 next to each
Wait,
other.
So how much data have you got?
I just sort of like 2 8s.
No, there's 2 77s, yeah?
There's a 7. I'm pretty sure there's 2 7s.
Yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. But,
I just saw -1.
Wait.
There's no way just for
How come it goes from 34 and you compare it to 19?
Because whenever you click, it regenerates random numbers. It repopulates itself.
Wow.
Let's click it until we get a duplicate.
No,
Let's get
no.
we get to 100. Come on, sir.
What did? Okay, no. Sadly, I'm tempted about, but no. It's actually very sad that I'm tempted by it, but anyway. Now, when does this come in handy? What if? Okay, when does a random number come in handy?
When you try to do a
Dice games.
raffle ticket draw.
Okay, raffle ticket. I like it. I want a raffle ticket. A person. So let's say a bride wins one of these gifts. So if we go randomly.
Seafood and some crab and lobster.
Some tray initial set.
Okay, so let's just say to get a random winning of an item, what we could do is if we did the following: top 1, and we said then order by. Now, this is interesting because I don't know here. It probably will.
Yo, guys, it's nearly the end of the day.
No, I'm leaving the off the school.
Actually, we don't need to worry about that. Guys, notice what would this do?
You'll win.
I'll select the top 1 random number.
No, you actually don't.
Okay, it'll select the top person. It's ordering it by the random number, meaning the lowest random number will be at the top, right? So then, whoever randomly every time I run this, so now it was a platter, a C platter, so that was the prize. I run it again.
I think so.
Ooh,
No, I'm not happy.
it's changing numbers, but it's not changing the description.
Yeah, because it doesn't make it random for the description, does it? It gives the description a random number.
I don't know what you just said.
Because like before you add all that stuff, you just loaded all
So
the
should we try to teach you now?
Okay, let's just check this. I'm running it random. It's a platter of food aluminium. Oh, it's only when I run it again. So every single time I run it. So now you get a crab bowl. Run it again. Now it's aluminium. You run it again. It's now a meatloaf.
Yeah, so why isn't it 4?
Because I changed it because I wasn't sure what was happening. I changed it to top 3.
Yeah, I know, so why isn't it 4?
Yeah, good point. Why was it 4?
Yeah, so
Okay, let's go back. Let's try it again. Maybe it was because there was 2 random numbers. 2 random numbers chosen the same. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
Let's check. I'm guessing that's why it would show. So here's 4. Now it shows 5.
That's 5.
Why are you showing one more? Freaking me out, man. Maybe there's just by chance. No.
I think now it's like 6 now.
Now it's 6. I think it's every time there's a duplicate. Is there a duplicate number in the list? No, there's not.
Ooh, so
But if I say top 1, run. Whoa!
Now there's 3.
Very nice.
Oh.
yes.
Hey,
What are the odds of that?
Maybe it's because of this.
Someone say 1 now.
No, sir, but now the decimals will be messed up.
It's not our problem.
I'm actually going to get rid of the... Oh, you know what it is? Maybe because of the round. Because technically, if you're wanting to do this, you wouldn't round it off because you don't want to have too many duplicates. So let's try this now. So top 1, run. Okay, now it's 1. So weird, when you round it off, it shows more than what you want.
What you really want.
So now it's only showing 1.
Choose more than
Let me try 3 now. Top 3.
Please show 4.
Okay, so it's on the rounding off. So it's the fact that when you round it off, it obviously then. But it's weird that it displays something differently because it didn't show us the duplicates during the display. Odd. Okay, anyway, it works like this. But you know what?
So
Maybe because it's a different.
So you can change one of these numbers. Can you click on one of them?
Yeah, but it won't automatically reorder
Oh, why not?
because you have to rerun the query to reorder. Because now it's just doing the display, it's renumbering.
Can you
Technically, guys, if I asked this question, I wouldn't have done this. This is what the question would have said. I wouldn't have shown, because why would the user want to know the random number? All you would want to see is you would want to see that.
Yeah, teacher.
You wouldn't want to see the random number. Now, one thing on from there, interestingly enough, I've done this. I've done this sort of same structure for regards to sorting out class lists for classes for grades that go into classes to make sure that you spread people randomly. You get them into whatever classes they can learn to intermingle. Yeah.
Yes, I'm confused. So, what is this unique number for? Like, it says-
Yes.
We generate a random number so we can order them by this random number.
No. I'm asking specifically, what is the number like for? Is it like for like a raffle ticket? It's like, what does it pertain to in this situation?
In this situation, I'm randomly ordering it, and then just saying I want to get the first person on there. So it's a way of just randomly selecting a person in a list. So if I order it, if I create a column, a logical column, which is raising a general random number, then order it by that column. Every single person's been associated with a random number, and then whoever's got the lowest random number wins the prize.
So can you order it by price? So like highest price is first.
Yes, I could, but then why would I do that? So you just want the highest price.
The most expensive thing.
So if you want to see the most expensive thing, you would then just say order by. Yeah, guys, that's actually the next thing that we're doing. Yo, you could say price ascending, but that's actually the next thing that we're doing is
So can you do it? I also have the specifics.
order by price descending, right? DESC.
Yeah, I guess.
So then if I run that, the most expensive is a platter FDL aluminium 1,750 or 1,760 rand.
What does the FDL stand for?
Flipping dank
Delicious lobster.
lobster. Yes, I like it. Okay, there we go. Freaking delicious lobster. Okay. Okay, right now. Anyway, from there, let's just go back to SQL. I kind of spent a bit longer on the round than what I wanted to. I went through now day, month, year, hour, minute last time, didn't I? Do I need to go through this again?
Wait, sir.
Yeah.
You said let's get back to SQL. So you told me that wasn't SQL.
It was SQL, but I'm saying I spent too long on RAND. Let's get back to the
On round
It's
one.
like
R&D.
That wasn't SQL.
We just spent like a long time on this.
Wait, did we find any duplicates?
Hmm?
Did we find any duplicates? Let's go look.
No, we're not going to look for duplicates. Alright, okay guys, so now...
Now we're never going to know though.
That could be-
It's going to kill you, sir.
I'm not going to...
So how do you sleep? How do you sleep?
Guys,
So I
what...
just want to know
How do you wake up in the
now,
morning?
day, month, year, hour, and minute.
Now, I went through this in the last video. I'm really not going to do that again now. Okay,
You asked if we should go through it again.
no, we're not going to. We're now going to be doing our aggregate functions. Now, aggregate functions literally do, guess what, aggregates. So if I want to now select, first I actually want to show you something here. I want to do a funky thing here. Now, this is the registry here. It says couple ID 2 requested 2 of item number 12337. So they've requested a quantity of 2, a board quantity of 1, so it's obviously still available. And in this case, requested quantity 2, board quantity 0.
I don't get that.
Now it means that they've requested 2 of whatever 13941 is. So if we look at this table here, 13941 is, okay, I'm not going to find it, but let's say it's a seafood buffet. So this is a very weird wedding if they're getting gifts which are like buffets. It's like, congratulations! They just get like tons of buffets and they have to like make it last, seafood buffets to last their life. The buffet. I'm sorry for not pronouncing it correctly, Mark. I appreciate your correction in my English. Anyway, now, guys, quiet. What if I wanted to find out the total price of the quantity requested of for couple ID 2. So how would I do that? I would select the price times the requested quantity. Do you guys get that?
Yes.
And I could say as total cost. If I wanted it with a space in between, I put it in square brackets. Space total cost. So when I've done that, so I'll say price times requested quantity as total cost. From now we're getting this from 2 tables. We're getting it from TBL items, and what is the other table we're getting it from?
TBL requested table gifts.
So items, comma TBL gifts. So we're getting it from 2, and then what do I have to do? I have to put a condition which links them, which will say where TBL items dot item ID is equal to TBL gifts dot item ID. Do you guys get that?
Wouldn't it be the other way around? No, would it?
You can do it either way around, both ways. If I'm saying 5 is equal to 5, or I say 5 is equal to 5.
You should say it twice.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
So it doesn't matter which way around you say it. If things are equal to each other, you can say them both ways around.
Not necessarily. Because if it's inequality, you can't find my negative number.
Okay, anyway, now moving on. If I now go and I run this query,
Hey, we don't have master.
let me just... it's very important when you do things like this, don't forget to display something that shows it. Kiara, you're writing tests on this later, so please pay attention. Oh, you? Oh, bonus, thank you. Alright,
Shout out.
okay, so now you'll see here...
YouTube.com/brand.
So you should do you should do it for like my next sub gets a shout out.
My next one?
On your live stream. Like my next sub gets a live.
Can we get hype in the chat?
Can I get it?
Alright,
Next
now,
one.
anyway, on here, you're talking about the total cost here. You see there's 2 aluminium crabs. The reason why we don't know what that's for, guys, and you might actually want to show price, and you might want to show quantity fields, just so it doesn't make complete no sense. But now, what if? Surely I also want to see which couple it is for, right? So I'd also want to show a bride name, comma, and groom name.
Well, wouldn't it just be groom name?
Why? See, all
Okay. Now, technically the surname, but anyway, not the point. From there, now we want to add a 3rd table, so we want to say comma TBL couples. So we've added a 3rd table in here. Now what we've got to do is we've got to say and where TBL gifts dot couple ID is equal to TBL couples dot couple ID. So I'm literally linking now 3 tables together. So I'm showing, I've said selecting from these fields, these fields here are from all 3 different tables. But then I'm saying from 3 tables where, and now this is an inner join, because I'm saying that they have to match each other. The item has to be in items, it has to be in gifts, and it has to be in copies. There has to be a link between all 3 of those connections, otherwise it will not display. So now when I run this, whoa, I can't spell quantity. Oh, it's requested quantity. Or let's do bought quantity rather.
So let's roll it off. Okay.
So you want requested quantity?
No, so I said wouldn't it rather be
Requested
bought?
quantity is already there.
So I even said wouldn't it rather be bought quantity, and you're like no.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so here, a broad aluminium for 384 Rand, 1 quantity was by Ariel and whatever, 2 of salad server thing, and then it gives the total cost over there.
What happened to the requested quantity?
So let's run it.
This is the run version.
Oh, what? That's pretty cool.
Look.
So I have a problem. The table isn't normalized.
Yes, I know it's not. But no, what do you mean this table? This isn't a table, this is a query with the results that they've grown from a query.
The table's not normalized.
Yes, why, okay, which,
Like, Emily, why and it should be, that's not an atomic
did you miss the whole thing earlier when I said it wasn't atomic, and this is why that's why you should
Yeah, we
normalize.
actually did that.
That's why you shouldn't normalize.
No,
That's why you should.
He said this is why data shouldn't be non-autonomous.
So,
It should be atomic.
No, it
Yes,
shouldn't
it's-
be non-autonomous.
Yeah, is it? And also see through the page.
Rico.
Type and
Why is
type
every single
through
line
and
room name the same?
No, it's because basically it shows all of the first. You see here the couples. It's showing all of Emily and Harold's registry first. And if I scroll down, it's all of Linda's and Eric's registry. Then it's Kathy and Joshua's registry. So it shows all the registry items.
That's 7,000 rand. How come that was in the top?
No, it's not 7,000 rand. It's because they want a quantity of 2.
So how's it 7,000?
Oh, you know what? Because probably I times it by requested quantity. Check, I times it by requested quantity and I was showing bought quantity. That's why. So in other words, I should have shown the same quantity as I was.
Or just change that one to bought quantity.
Either or. So if I run this, then you'll see now it will be a bit more matching. So now it says 4, for example, and that kind of stuff. So that's why that was it. Guys, can I seriously move on? Do you guys understand this?
Yes,
When I am asking for this from, I can do a calculation. I can name it by going as in square brackets. Okay. Now, the next thing that we're moving on to is what's called aggregate functions. Aggregate functions are actually pretty easier than this. Let's just say it. I can go select average. Okay, what was getting asked by Matthew, I think. He asked me, what if I wanted to find the most expensive item? I could just go max price from table items.
Yeah, but now it doesn't show the name.
Now, it doesn't show the name. Now, when you aggregate something, remember, aggregating, you're squishing everything into one field. Do you guys understand that? Okay? Now, if I were to